What's up, y'all? It's your boy Apex Laurent. Welcome to another segment of Late Nights with Apex, here for Apex Advice. So today I want to give y'all my 2 cents on insecurities and vulnerability. Now, like I always say, I'm only giving y'all my opinion and based on my experiences that have helped me achieve the minded success that I have achieved. I define my success based on the mentality I have, the happiness I have, the stability and familial structure that I have, and the vision I have for myself. And I consider that success to be great. So I like to share my experiences that help define my mindset. Now, the reason I chose to talk about insecurity and vulnerability today is because while we're going through this whole quarantine situation, I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the gram where people are like, yo, build this business, plant a tree that grows money on it, you know, turn into a Super Saiyan by making sure you do your 3,000 push-ups a day, whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop. I've seen all types of crazy stuff, and I'm all for the self-development. I think that that's amazing. If that's something you've been able to really take advantage of during this time, more kudos to you, more power to you, and thank you for putting that energy out to these people in the world, for real. But there's also people that might not have the mental foundation to attack one of those two things yet. There's a lot of people that weren't built for this quarantine yet. So you can be super productive, or you can be taking this time to do your own thing. But one thing I really want to emphasize is that people should take this time to really look deep into themselves and attack those insecurities. So that way, when we do end up on the other side of this, you know yourself. You know yourself best, because that's what matters the most right now. It doesn't matter if you come out with an 18-pack, and it doesn't matter if you come out with 6 more zeros in your bank account if you don't know who you are up here. Now, when it comes to insecurities, man, quick story for y'all. One of my biggest insecurities used to be my hair or my lack thereof. I had to make a decision when I was 20 years old to basically cut my hair and stay bald because I wasn't about to rock no old man's hairline at 20 years old, you feel me? Now, luckily, I happen to be somebody who can rock the look, thank God, for my genes and whatnot, but that was not something that I really wanted to do when I was 20 years old. And I bring this situation up because I had to face the music. And a lot of y'all that I see on Instagram tend to kind of compare yourselves to each other. Y'all might compare looks to each other, might compare pockets to each other, might compare anything. And it's social media, so I completely understand where it's coming from. But the idea of insecurities stems from your desire to be like somebody else, or your desire that your false understanding or a false assumption that you're inadequate. I felt that same way when I had to decide that I was gonna lose my hair. I was like, dang, like my homies got their hair. You feel me? Why am I losing my hair at 20? Or girls aren't gonna fuck with me. I'm 20 years old and I'm bald. Woo, woo, woo. I'm telling you, bro, it was terrible. I felt like I wasn't going to be as successful as I was with my hair back at that time. There was 2 things I did. I had to ask myself, hey, this is what you're going to be living with for the rest of your life. You're either going to keep your head down or you're going to keep your head up. That was the first question I had to ask myself. The second question so that was like an interpersonal decision I made. Now, when it comes to how everybody else was going to reflect on it, my question became, do I want to give off this facade that I'm not comfortable with it? Or do I want to own this shit? And obviously, I could see what decision I made. Now, that's one less deep version of insecurities to consider, but I wanted to share that story just so that y'all understand, like, every single person that you see, every single person that you encounter, everybody that you see on Instagram, you work with at work, you see on TV, they have their own set of insecurities that they have to battle. Whether they decide to show it or not is up to them. But whether they decided to face the music and overcome those insecurities is the decision that they made for themselves. And that's something that you guys should all be doing as well. Take the time to really fall in love with your own thoughts. Fall in love with the idea of who you are, whether it's something that you're insecure about mentally, whether it's something that you're insecure about physically, whether it's something that you're insecure about based on like monetary value. Like maybe you're not making enough money right now. Maybe you feel like you're never gonna find a woman, you won't find love. You can only control yourself. You must control your controllables, and that's you. And your outlook on yourself is what matters the most. So 3 things that really help me get over my insecurities. 1, understanding that I have to control the controllables. It's all on me. I have to decide how I look at myself, how I value myself, and how I want to put myself out into the world. Whether I want it to be scared and kind of hide it, which, you know, anybody that's kind of like dealing with that hairline thing, trust me, I get it. If you want to use other resources to deal with that process, you know, more power to you. I went for the baldy because it's less of a headache. But 1, you have to control the controllables, which is yourself. 2, you have to really be able to have a conversation with yourself. They say that the smartest people in the world are the people that can have conversations with themselves. And you need to be able to go into the mirror and feel like you're not lying. You need to look at yourself in the face and be able to know you're not lying to yourself. And once you do have that ability, believe me, that's a game changer for how you and your inner self are going to team up to go, because the sky's the limit once you get on the same team with your inner star player. Number 3, treat your brain like you treat your stomach. You have to continue to positively enrich your brain, positively nourish your brain. Think about it. If you're eating junk food all the time, what's going to happen to your body? So with your brain, if you're constantly pouring in nonsense, you're constantly putting in commercially stuff, you're constantly putting in comparisons, you're constantly putting in memes, Instagram, woo, 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 whatnot. I'm not saying don't take that stuff. That's just like saying you don't have to cut out all the sweets or the fatty foods. I'm more just saying, if you don't learn to have positive self-talk, to learn how to nourish your brain with new skills, new ideas, to really look at your own life, reflect on it, and give your brain that positive reflection time, you're going to poison your brain, because your brain is very much like your stomach, and it needs healthy foods. It needs the correct type of nourishment. It needs the correct type of attention to yourself, because your brain is how you're going to define your self-image. It's going to help you with your own self-love. It's also going to help you with your own vulnerability. And I'm not saying that relationships are one-sided, but I'm saying that you have to find a way to complete yourself, so that way you can present a completed version of yourself to your partner. And it'll be a lot easier for y'all both to be happy if y'all both completed versions of yourself, and y'all focusing on keeping each other at y'all best and continuing to grow. I know relationships don't stay perfect. I know there's definitely things that go through the relationships, but if y'all both have your own sense of happiness for yourselves, it's a lot harder for one of you guys to take a happiness away from each other. Y'all just come together to enhance it and continuously nourish that new happiness, if that makes sense. Nobody can write your blueprint for happiness, bro. And take this time, however you decide to define it, to make that vision of what your happiness looks like. Whether it's monetary, whether it's through love, or whether it's through getting your body right. Or whether it's through watching Hulu and watching every movie on there. Like, whatever you choose to do is your happiness. Just don't lie to yourself about it. So that's my 2 cents for this quarantine, man. Take some time, learn yourself, fall in love with your own thoughts. Don't be afraid to be insecure, and don't be afraid of your own potential. Apex advice, we out.